Game,
It's a big game to win.
3 games all.
Big serving from Khachanov, also big serving from Kyrgios. The average rally. Sign, isn't it? First game.
Last game and go for
Standing not far back, maybe he could see Kyrgios serve and volley.
That's the tricky one. You're trying to take the return position away from your opponent when they stood that far back by serve and volleying, but if you don't catch your spot accurately enough, as you say, Khachanov has the time to see that Nick's coming forwards there.
Oh, my goodness me. A backhand of sheer quality.
30 all.
Defies logic.
How's he made that? It's so flat. Is it the biggest angle off the flattest backhand? 3 meters behind the baseline. And that's what you mentioned earlier, Barry. That's when he's potentially going to be at a disadvantage for having had this amount of time out of the sport. It's when you go deep in the points, those really long rallies, or maybe an extremely long match, especially in the heat. Your legs are going to feel it more than your opponent. It's tough to recreate that match intensity no matter how much you train.
Yeah, something that's going to give you feel. I think for Kyrgios, he might need to 2 big serves here, first or second. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? All the hard work to create that opportunity.
Yes.
Livid.
Just going back to the break point, I wonder if he expected a big serve. And actually almost the slow serve deceived him.
I think he's being instructed here where to serve almost every point from his coaching team. 3 of them just there, right at the back of the court.
Three wise men there. Well, Khachanov had a bit of an escape, saved the break points. Kyrgios had a bit of an escape. That was a tough game. His team delighted, as I'm sure it's Kyrgios.
Welcome to Rio.
The Jockey Club Brasileiro will be our home this week for the ATP Tour 500 event.
It is a first ATP 500 level final for Alexandra Muller. The title defense is still on. It's back-to-back Rio finals for Sebastian Baez. And now on the red dirt of the Jockey Club Brasileiro, the next chapter is about to be written. Oh, what a point! So first blood to Baez in this final. Baez goes back-to-back in Rio. He becomes the first man to win this title on multiple occasions.
Well, they are kind of living every point.
They'll have to stop letting them in soon. It's standing room only. I think that's the genre he taps into as well, isn't it? That so many other tennis tournaments and clubs, that young, early 20s, maybe late teen, he interests them as well. And it's that next generation that are going to stick within the sport.
Love.
Was that a signal of the wrist there, maybe? Or was he just describing that he needed more work on the ball to get it up and over the net? Shaking that arm out.
Let's. First serve. Love. Love.
Great serving, good use of the new balls.
Khachanov.
That's Kyrgios-esque there.
4 games all.
Khachanov actually out-acing the Australian. Khachanov, a few players, has reached the quarter-final of all 4 majors. Semi-final of the US Open and the Australian Open back-to-back.
Love. All.
Khachanov's here, a little slow so far to get going. He's won 4 of his 10 matches. He's lost to some good players in recent weeks, though. Lost to Shelton in Indian Wells, Tsitsipas in Dubai, Medvedev in Doha. Tough draw, that one. Opening round.
And that's the guy who's ranked 23rd, getting those sorts of draws so early on in the tournaments. You know, first or second rounds, he's coming up against those sorts of guys. So you're one of the top-ranked players and still not able to get a seeding high enough to avoid the big guys.
He played very well at the end of last year. I mean, the title in Almaty, reaching the final in Vienna, lost to Draper there.
40-30.
Is he just feeling the pain there on his
Looks like his
shoulder?
Yeah, like shoulder bone. It's the second game he's been sort of manipulating that area. He did say yesterday the ball toss was getting a little bit away from him, too far in front at the start of the match. He managed to pull it back a little bit. It is a bit breezier today, so maybe something.
Anything on the service speed?
He's getting himself stuck there in no man's land, not approaching the net. Bit hesitant, maybe.
Yeah, starting to feel a heat here, Kyrgios.
First serve.
Big hitting.
Advantage, Kyrgios.
Maybe that's the maturity that we didn't get to see from him before. The timeout from injury, the ability to bounce back when the frustration do start to bubble over.
Well, he started the match holding serve comfortably, but the last couple have been tough. But he's passed the test as Kyrgios.
Kyrgios leads 5 games to 4.
Khachanov is going to have to serve to stay in the opening set.
And we go racing in Zandvoort.
Win the ultimate F1 Heineken Dutch Grand Prix experience with BN Sports. Get up close to the world's best drivers and feel the thunder of F1 from the grandstand.
Incredible stuff. Yes! Crowd has gone berserk.
Scan the QR code during race weekends for your chance to win.
Yes! Come on, guys.
Your F1 dream starts here with BN Sports.
Time.
Spoilt for choice.
Yeah, I think if you're on a grounds pass, early stages of either the slams or the Masters 1000s, you know, the draws are just stacked, aren't they? Those first few days, you're going to catch some big names, even on the outside courts, and maybe even with a better atmosphere.
Yeah. Always surprises me that, you know, the top players generally, they always want to play on the main court, but, you know, surely playing in an atmosphere like this is better than if you're playing on the stadium court with, you know, maybe only 10% full.
Yeah, I think as we touched on it before, Nick isn't requesting the big courts, is he? He wants these outdoor ones. Oh no.
I mean, that is unbelievable. I mean, you could only miss a shot like that of his quality if you're not focused, you're not dialed in, and being the opening point. He's rattled here, I think, Khachanov.
He's got the crowd to deal with as well. Not easy when they cheer when you miss a volley on top of the net like that. It's like an extra kick in the gut, isn't it?
Just won 2 of 7 at the net.
Targeting the forehand of Kyrgios, especially on serve. Bigger take back, hasn't it? It's not as compact, so if you can go quick into that side, like on the serve, going to get a bit more from it than you would on the backhand.
He's
actually going 70% of the time into the forehand on serve, Khachanov.
Khachanov. 5 games all.
Yeah, he likes that serve, and you know, I do feel the way he hits his two-hander, it's compact, isn't it? Kyrgios, he can shorten the backswing.
Kyrgios is preferring the tee at the moment. 70% on the due side, he's gone down the middle, 60% down the tee on the ad side.
Yeah, I mentioned the potential of that sort of shoulder injury from Kyrgios. His last service game, he was 6 miles per hour slower. And that felt like that first serve just lacked a little bit of pop. And that one. But it's still such a great serve, he can still fire aces down.
That was that 111 miles an hour. It's off the pace by Nick's standards. Oh.
Points we've seen.
And able to punch through the defenses of Kyrgios.
23-shot rally. And I don't know about you, Barry, but the longer it went on, again, the more you just feel Khachanov's coming out on top of that point. I think Nick thought he'd already lost it 3 times, caught the back of the baseline twice.
He's had 2 break points. He's got 2 more.
$30-40.
Such a strong backhand under the most extreme of pressures.
It's arguably been his best shot today, the backhand.
And interestingly, from the baseline, Khachanov actually going into that backhand corner more often than he is anywhere else.
That was faster.
Advantage, Kyrgios.
Sometimes hard to pick up on screen, but you hear the gasps from the crowd. The forehand, the injection of power coming from the racket of Khachanov. Nick dealing with it well, but when Khachanov's on that front foot, it is very difficult to neutralize. So much power.
It's the longest game of the match.
Advantage, Kyrgios.
His first 3 service games, and he dropped 4 points since then. And he's had to really dig in on serve as Kyrgios.
And that's not the first time we've said that today. And Khachanov might feel he's missed a big opportunity there. Well, we know with these two, tie breaks is always on the cards, and we might just have another one. Kyrgios, 6-5.
Roared on in Miami.
Oh, it feels so sweet. Unbelievable.
Down deep, bringing the heat.
Oh, what a point that was.
Is a winning machine right now. Exceptional tennis.
Intrigue to this opening set. A lot's been happening. Mind you, it is Kyrgios. it's a match, well, I think it's safe to say there's more pressure on Khachanov than there is on Kyrgios. Khachanov, 22nd seed. He's had a difficult start to the season. Couple of return games. He's missed the opportunity. Now, a must-win game for Khachanov.
15 love.
7 of the 13 sets they've played previously were tie breaks, so would follow form that we'll get another one here. And they're so neck and neck, you know, not even just total points won, but even every single stat that you look through, they're almost identical. Winners, unforced errors, serving stats very similar as well.
Love.
Clearly already thinking about the tiebreak. Might just need one shot to win this point.
It is just the one shot.
6 games all tiebreak.
The tiebreak it is. Not a break. That's all we've seen. We have seen break points.
That's a good start for Kyrgios.
I think one thing that he will want to do better, and he's been talking to himself in this opening set, is make more returns off the first serve. Amazingly, just 17% of first serve return made for Kyrgios.
He was ready for the body serve. Khachanov has been using it well successfully. Kyrgios continuing to step in close, put pressure on those second serve returns, but he was ready that time for the body. Good decision taking it on the backhand, because it's much easier into your body on the backhand than trying to hit that forehand.
Just asking Richard Haig, was it a let?
He's convinced. I think he was even trying to ask Khachanov there. Khachanov probably trying to stay out of the conversation and stay focused in the middle of the tie break. It's been a play he's used successfully. He's been enjoying his second shot into the backhand side of Khachanov. Maybe just a bit close there.
Khachanov.
It doesn't feel he's in a right frame of mind, does it? 3 now. And with time running again away from Kyrgios.
He wants more from them. I mean, it's tough for them. They're not actually allowed to yell down to the other end of the court when Khachanov's down their side, right? So there's, I mean, they could maybe offer hand signals, but he's screaming past Khachanov's shoulder. It's more just a case of venting your frustrations, I think, isn't it?
Two love up, 5 points later. Well, it's not the first time that we heard Kyrgios say this. Same thing, wasn't it, the Wimbledon final?
Mature tennis from Khachanov. He recognises what's going on here.
6-2, Khachanov.
And they take confidence from it, don't they, Nick's opponents, because they feel like, okay, this is the moment. He's gone now. He's not as focused anymore. Now is my time to dial him, to be really disciplined, to put balls in court.
4 set points.
Six-3, Khachanov.
Doesn't feel like they've been any different, his team, from 2-love that they were before that.
That's good from Khachanov. In the end, the difference between the two is he kept his cool. He stayed calm. Kyrgios has unravelled here quickly in the tiebreak. Unbelievable. All right, drama on Buchholz's court. Well, a tough battle on grandstand. Kecmanovic, he wasn't too far away from winning the match in the second set. Ruud took the second, and here is the 5th seed with match point. One of his favourite serves. It's a big win. Kecmanovic has been in good form, so to recover from a set down. Focus back on tennis after shooting in the 70s of the Masters a couple of weeks ago. Ruud living his dream, playing golf there. And that's a strong win from Ruud. 2005 minutes, 6-4 in the 3rd set for Ruud. Well, today we'll also see Novak Djokovic for the first time here in Miami since 2019. Of course, Miami has been kind to Djokovic over the years. Well, last won the title back in 2016, and Djokovic on the practice court, practicing his returns. And Djokovic will be in action. 3rd match on the Stadium court against the Australian Hijikata. They played in Brisbane at the beginning of the year. Djokovic a winner in straight sets. It kind of feels that's a decent matchup for Djokovic, who's of course still trying to work his way back to full fitness after that injury in Melbourne.
Really hard to know what form he's in, isn't it? He's cherry picking tournaments now, but always a pleasure to see him on the court.
He's still stewing.
I think they're just waiting for the crowd to settle themselves back down. It was standing room only. There were actually some people sat on the stairs. So many people had come in, there were no seats left. So I think a ton of people, yeah, still trying to make their way out. More trying to get in. We may as well just start playing. They'll be out here for a while waiting if not.
Actually, it couldn't have gone any better, could it? That opening set for Khachanov. Not only is he a set up, but took him an hour to win it. So for Kyrgios potentially to win this match, it's got to be out here for another hour and a half, hour and 45. Right now, that doesn't look likely.
30 love.
That's exactly the sort of first service game you want after a tight first set. It's very easy to have a dip in intensity. Khachanov setting the tone.
Great service game.
First game, second set.
And he has served well. 63% of his serves have been unreturned.
Well, the crowd are going to do their best, but it has to come from Nick here. He has to find a way to find the positivity that we saw in the first set.
Love. 15 all.
And I know it's so easy to say from the side of the court, but I think if I'm his team, I'm just trying to remind him, this is just a stepping stone. This is a building block. This is all about laying the foundation, testing the wrist. You know, your back, playing against somebody in the world's top 25. Reminding him of that patience that it's going to take to come back.
That's brilliant. I think the surprising thing was he just didn't give himself a chance in that tiebreak.
He was just so zoned in on the fact that his team hadn't said anything at 2-1. That's all he could talk about for the rest of the tiebreak. There was like an inability to let it go and focus on the present.
That's a gorgeous backhand. Not a bad time to bring up your first backhand winner.
I'm feeling an underarm serve. He's on the horizon, Barry. Are you feeling one?
I am, yeah. There's something ready to... And it might just be that racket might make its entrance into the bin. Well, there we go. We knew something was just around the corner. And a warning.
Leads 2 games to love.
And it might not just stop at a warning either.
Mr. Kyrgios. Love.
It's amazing that he's losing, but right now he's the centre of attention.
30 love.
Just needs to edge on over and protect that forehand on the serves a bit, because Khachanov continuing to favour that side on both the deuce and the ad court. And it's definitely a tactic Khachanov's using against Kyrgios, because it's way up above his player average, 52-week average, where he's sort of 50% onto that forehand corner normally, but he's almost 70%. And that's what happens if you can be ready, but you can't be that dialed in if you're not thinking clearly, right? If you're getting angry, your mind's focused on whatever you're angry about, you can't break down the tactical side of the game.
First set tie-break, turning around very quickly. He trailed initially, Khachanov. Since that moment, it has been one-way traffic, and he's well on his way to the next round. Is Khachanov.
Hello and welcome to Acapulco, and coming up, 2 fascinating semi-final matchups. Thomas Mahach, courageous, dialed that forehand in. It's going to be the biggest final of his career. He's just pouring it on because he can right now. Alejandro Davidovich Fokina has given himself a chance of glory again. We are left with Thomas Mahach and Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. That's big time. Oh, work the point supremely well. Thomas Mahach is a champion on the ATP Tour for the first time in his career.
What Kyrgios has been saying in between points has been more of the story than actually what we've seen on the court. Super impressed with Khachanov. I mean, he's a great pro. Mentally strong, just goes about his business quietly but impressively. Is it this game, the underarm serve, Naomi?
Well, he's going to have to do something.
The screen was still showing the replay, then the machine doesn't work. 15-all.
They're almost here to watch a show, aren't they? They're not even too bothered if he wins or loses the match. They want to see the tweeners. They want to see the underarm serve.
He's barely put a foot wrong in this set. Just the one unforced error from Khachanov. Impressive.
Okay, Khachanov leads 4 games to love.
It's days like today, if you're his coach, that I think you're thankful you got a pair of glasses and you got a white towel on top of your head.
Full disguise.
Yeah. Could you just pull the towel straight over your head? James Frawley with him.
15 love.
This match has lost its fizz.
Love. Love.
He's done the basics very well. Only missed one first serve in this set. As I said, just unforced error.
Well, you knew he was looking for it. He couldn't execute with a hot dog. And in 5 minutes' time, he might be having a couple of hot dogs.
5 games still on.
Khachanov just needs one more game to progress to the third round.
is a winning machine right now. Exceptional tennis.
Time.
Just 18 minutes this set.
About 15.
He's won just 5 points on serve in the second set. In fact, he's only won 7 points in total.
He just hasn't been able to recover from too love in the tiebreak. And anybody that wasn't with us in that first set, he was 2-love up in the tiebreak.
No. And it was brilliant tennis. That's the biggest shame of all. It was a great match.
It's fizzled out. 2 match points. Khachanov. Good performance from Khachanov. He was dialed in. Always got to take care of your end of the court. But for Kyrgios, the first 12 games was very good. But, during the tiebreak, he was distracted by his box. Khachanov, fully focused. Good performance. And that's classic Khachanov. A straight sets victory. His first match of the week in singles. Khachanov safely moves through to the next round. The first time in their meetings that he's been able to win in straight sets.
It was all very straightforward in the end, wasn't it, for Khachanov? He was kind of gifted that second set entirely from Kyrgios. What a shame. The first set was just brilliant tennis, so exciting. You just had no idea which way it was going to go, but the second set pretty non-existent. But it's great to see Nick back on court. It's great to see the wrist holding up, you know, manipulating, touching that shoulder quite a lot. So we'll see how he fares with that over the next couple of days. Clay season coming up, and surely Kyrgios focusing in on the grass. Khachanov, discipline, the experience, the professionalism shone through in the end.
Yeah, you've got to make sure that you don't use any of your protecting ranking on the clay if you're Kyrgios.
Yeah.
But he does need matches. So will he be willing to just drop down and play some challenges?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? The scheduling decisions now for Nick. It's, as you say, using those. I mean, I'm sure most tournaments would love to have him now. Look at the crowd he's going to pull in. You know, you're guaranteed bums on seats, tickets sold when he's on your schedule. But you've got to be smart with how the body holds up, with where you want your focus to be.
Now, at least he won a match for the first time in what, close to 900 days for Kyrgios.
895 days between his tour wins.
I wonder when we'll next see him.
Look, he's a good guy off the court, isn't he? Can't always control his temperament on it, but he's got a good heart. Still got time for some photos with fans, and we can have a look through some of the numbers. And it really does tell the story of the match. It was on the racket of Kyrgios to an extent, that unforced error count climbing rapidly in the second set. fact, in the second set, Khachanov only missed one unforced error. Didn't give anything away at all. And again, that's the experience, that's the discipline, knowing when Kyrgios is starting to unravel down the other end of the court to just put balls back in play. That's all Khachanov had to do in that second set. But the first set really was great tennis. Even with the fall away in the second set, the stats still staying up for Kyrgios, even on serve. Barely able to win points, neither able to capitalise on break point chances in the first set. Khachanov had 3, didn't take any. Nick had 2 himself, couldn't convert on those either, but 3 for 3 Khachanov in that second set. Impenetrable on serve. An hour and 16 sees Khachanov through to the next round.
Yeah, good day at the office for Khachanov, a former semi-finalist here. And what that means, that's an interesting battle. We've seen Dimitrov, we've seen Khachanov. And that will be a third round match. That will be in a couple of days' time. Elsewhere in this part of the draw, the bottom section. Alcaraz, well, he'll be playing his first match later on this evening against Goffin, and then Nakashima, who's been in good form. Confirmation of how well he's done. He's now seeded in the Masters, is the American. He takes on Kyrgios. So good performance from Khachanov. He's ready to talk to us, and it will be Ersin Guterres who will be asking the questions to Karen.
Well, Karen, well done. Went very quick at the end, but I can imagine, especially at the end of this first set, it wasn't that easy to keep cool. How important was it to keep cool today?
Yeah, definitely. You know, first of all, you know, with Nick, you never know. The thing is that he didn't play for the last 2-3 years, I guess. Yeah, maybe even more. You know, so you never know what to expect. That in which match today is the same, and you have to try to stay calm, especially in the heat of a battle. You know, we always have those kind of tight matches like 7-6, 7-5, 6-4. I mean, we had 2 crazy battles, 5-setters at the Grand Slam. So, you know, I had to stay really focused, especially on those moments. I would say to stay mentally. Actually, it happened. You know, so I'm really happy and proud of myself today. And not lose the control. You know, I could definitely see that he was you know, getting a little bit out of the zone, let's say, mentally, and you know, that's the result of the second set, I think.
You say not lose control, but I can imagine also take confidence when you do see your opponent struggling for your own game.
Definitely. That's the thing that I'm trying to gain. You know, like when I see that the guy. That my opponent doesn't feel comfortable, I think that gives you also extra confidence, you know, because you say, okay, I have just to continue, and then you are more in the flow. You just try to do the same things. You're just trying to be better and better. Just play game by game, you know, and then let's see what happens, you know. And that's actually was my mindset today.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, so much goes in to make a top player, and sometimes it just comes down